Ooh, Anna's here.
How's everybody doing this afternoon?
Good. I think this is probably going to be it right at the moment. So, Tim,
Okay.
thank you for coming.
No problem.
You know, I think us three here are really interested in just working with the sports commission more and doing
Mhm.
volunteering opportunities. And you know, we all had a few questions. I know Jacob actually he wanted to know a little bit about the COVID regulations. Is that right, Jacob?
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to know like like as volunteers, what do we need to have or do in order to kind of come in? Because I know they're kind of all over the place, different places. So I didn't know if you had some background info on what we need in order to have it, like especially for Wash U. But we're looking more towards like March and April and May to kind of doing some stuff. Me and Alex kind of talked about doing like the wrestling championships at I can't remember what school it is. It's Chaffetz
It's-
Arena. That's right.
It's at Chaffetz, but yeah, it's hosted by Maryville.
Yeah.
And us. Yeah.
So yeah, so like with the first one being in November in a couple weeks, we're just kind of wondering what we need in order to be volunteers for it, and then looking forward to the next couple of ones just so that we have a kind of a background.
Yep. Really good question. And I will tell you that, and this is what I think you're asking. If this doesn't answer your question, please tell me. But I'll back up for a minute and talk about the Musial Awards, which is another one we have coming up. It overlaps with the D3 Volleyball Championships, unfortunately. But so for the Musial Awards, we would request, and this is really the building's doing the same thing, but we're in lockstep with the venue on this one, that any of our volunteers provide proof of vaccination to volunteer and be there. That's something that stays consistent with the backstage crew and everything, just because of your access to where you might be in relation to honorees, backstage crew, etc. We would require a vaccination and proof of that to volunteer at the Musial Awards. I don't know exactly what the rule is, but I can find out very quickly for the D3 Volleyball Championship. I do know that one of the volunteer positions that I think has yet to be filled is actually like COVID checkers. So I know there's some rule in effect for people attending the event, but I don't know what the specifics are for volunteers, if it's any different like it is for the Musial Awards. And the Musial Awards are not super different from general public. The only difference is that the general public can provide proof of vaccination or a negative test within 72 hours, taken within 72 hours of the event for entry. We are on the volunteer and event staff side, just focused on the vaccination only. So I'll find out on D3 volleyball, and it's at this time, it's a little too early to know anything or tell you what that might be for the events in March. We have D2 wrestling, as you mentioned. We have the ACHA national tournament, which is college club hockey national tournament. And then there's other stuff next year as well that you know, like everything else, you kind of don't know until you get a little closer, because you don't know what the pandemic's gonna be in
Right.
2, 3, 4 months. So
Yeah, I just thought I'd ask because like I'm interested in doing the volleyball because like it ends up on a Thursday and Friday and Saturday. The only thing I couldn't do is like a Saturday, but I could do the Thursday and Friday if I can. So I was just trying to get some background info on what I need to have in order to be a volunteer.
Yep. Good question. And I'll find out on D3 volleyball for you right after this.
Okay. I guess, do you want me to, how is the best way to contact you for that? Just so I can get that information.
Yeah, I was looking for a little sheet to jot a note down. Just an email. I mean, that's fine. And I can connect to you through Alex or whatever's easier.
I can put
Or
my,
Alex can give you mine
yeah, I'll put my email in there just so that you have it.
in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jacob, his email is actually on our running calendar right now
Okay.
with all the contact information.
I'll go back and get that email, and I'll kind of just send you a brief intro email just so that
Perfect.
that's I think that's all I had. Let me see. I think I have one other thing.
So I do, my quick question is, can we start signing up for future events, or how early is too early to start signing up?
I would say there's technically it's not too early, but there's not a whole lot we can do for future events right now
Okay.
to put you down into like a volunteer shift or anything or a schedule because it doesn't exist yet. However, that being said, we usually will, if you know that you're planning to, volunteer for multiple days or whatever at the D2 wrestling championships in March, you can just let us know and we usually keep a little list
Okay.
of interested volunteers for each event as they draw nearer. And when we do have more information to share, we can then blast it out to those folks as well as the rest of our volunteer database.
Yeah, I was also looking at the Missouri Valley Conference basketball tournament as well.
Yep, that's a good one. For that, I will. I don't know when. So the background on that is we do provide assistance to the Missouri Valley Conference, but they have their own staff and event management team that really runs everything there.
Okay.
So you would go through them for those volunteer opportunities, and I can connect you with the person you would need to talk to. And her name's Kristen Swiderska, and I'll connect you via email, but she would be the one. I don't know when she starts filling those roles. It could be early.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely reach out to her, and I'll also put my name in for the D2 wrestling.
Sure.
Yeah, I want to put my name in there too. I think Alex said that we're all in athletics next semester for UMSL athletics. So we kind of all had the same schedule of stuff is going around. So I think Alex said that we're off on that weekend. So if I'm off on that weekend, I really want to do the wrestling championships because it's kind of right in my wheelhouse.
Fantastic.
I think we're actually off the first 2 weekends in March, if I'm not mistaken.
That's even better.
Yeah.
That would be the Valley tournament followed by wrestling.
Yeah.
What's that?
First 2
Valley
weekends in March.
tournament
It's at Enterprise Center.
at? Oh, it's an Enterprise. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Now with like parking and everything, are we just parking in like where everyone else would park, or is there certain spaces that we have to go?
There is, I can't speak for what the Valley tournament offers for volunteer parking, but for our events, we always have some sort of volunteer parking that is set aside so you don't have to, pay to park for a volunteer shift.
Okay.
But the details of that are different depending on the event.
Yeah. I guess will you contact us with like all that info
Yep.
whenever we sign up for stuff like that? Okay.
Yep.
That's all that I really had. Hannah, did you have any questions? I know we kind of just popped you in here, so welcome.
No, yeah, all good. I was just gonna tell Alex later on to add me with the email with the Missouri Valley basketball because that would be awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, add me in there on that one too, just so I get the info.
Jake, you got anything?
Hey, no, my fault. I didn't realize I was on mute, but no, I've got nothing. I was just here to sit in and listen.
Okay, perfect. Now, Tim, this might be a little bit forward of me to ask, but by any chance, are you able to put like two or three volunteer spots to the side for UMSL for like every event? Is that possible?
It's a good question. I I think it's probably not necessary to be that formal with
Okay.
like setting them aside. I think all of our events, for the most part, will have, you know, easily 2 to 3 spots that UMSL students can fill. It's just a matter of, you all being aware of it and reaching out to express that interest when the time comes. So, if your email addresses, and it could be all of you, it doesn't just have to be one person. If your email addresses are in our volunteer database, that's one way where you'll see when we put out a blast that we need 100 volunteers for some event. You can reply, and it could be more than 2 to 3. And the other thing there is, that what I kind of mentioned earlier, if you look on our event calendar next year and you see there's 2 events that you really want to, express interest now in being a volunteer for, with more details to come later, then you can go ahead and tell us, and we keep a little list that says, okay, Alex and Hannah, are interested in D2 wrestling, or, whatever. And so before we go out to sort of the mass of volunteer emails in our database, we would go to those who had previously expressed interest directly first.
Okay. Perfect.
So if you can work it that way, where if 2 or 3 of you are interested in that particular event, you just tell me now, and we'll put you down, and then it's sort of the same as holding 2 or 3 spots.
Could we all do it as like a group chat or group kind of email, just so that we're all kind of in there on that email,
Yeah.
or got to be separate? Okay.
I'll do
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you want to send one email with names and email addresses, because it'll be good. Then when the time comes, let's say February, we go out with something that is more specific about what we're looking for to fill, shifts to fill, and roles and all that for that event. Then it can go to all of the emails that have interest.
All right. That sounds good. Any more questions, guys?
No, just I guess just keep us in the loop on what we need to know for like the COVID procedures and all that for
Yeah.
the future events.
Yeah.
and the one
I'll-
for the volleyball championship.
Yep. I'll get that answer shortly. Should be this afternoon. And I'll just add, I know you all have gotten the volleyball communication that Alex was able to, I think, spread to everybody. We still do also have, a few spots to fill, volunteer spots to fill on Saturday, November 20th for the Musial Awards. If anybody has interest in that, again, volleyball is the 18th, 19th, and 20th. So if you're already committed on the 20th to volleyball, that's fine. But if you're not and you're available and want to help out at the Musial Awards, please let me know that as well.
Okay.
By the way, do you have my schedule for the Musial Awards, or is that still in?
I'm getting ready. It probably won't be today, but early next week. I
Gotcha.
will. It's basically, at most, a volunteer shift will be like 3:30 to 10:30. Like, that's the biggest swath of time there could be, because all volunteers will arrive about the same time, and then break off into varying roles. But, there's certain jobs, my intention for you, Alex, is, because you kind of said you're up for anything, is to have you wear a couple different hats and
All
fill that time, with doing some different things even during the show. I never see the full show myself, because
Yeah.
I'm usually behind the scenes working on some other things. So but there's other volunteer positions that, you might be sort of on duty, so to speak, from 4:30 to 6:30, and then you're kind of done for the rest of the night. So it just kind of varies, but that's a good general sense of what it is, Alex, but
Yeah.
I can break it down for you more when I email everybody who's volunteering next week.
Gotcha. I guess now that you brought that up, what are the different roles like that people will be doing? I
For
know
that
you s-
event.
Yeah.
So it's an award show, but we have some different things going on. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Stiefel Theater, as like you've been in an event there.
Yeah.
Anybody? Okay.
Right now.
So the theater is the main thing, but there's also 4 identically sized ballrooms that are sort of on the 2 wings of the theater. So there's 2 on one side and 2 on the other side of the theater, and but they don't look into the theater, so they're separate. But we host a pre-show dinner for sponsors and honorees and guests. So there's a bunch of people that come earlier for a sort of VIP reception and then dinner before the actual show. So then there's like 2 big waves of guests that come. There's that wave of people that are doing the dinner before, and then there's another wave of people that come for just the show. And so because of all that, there's a lot of herding cats, I'll say, making sure people are knowing where to go, if it's the reception or the dinner or just the show or whatever, they have the right tickets and all that kind of stuff. So we have what I call dinner registration volunteers, which help on the entry and tell people which ballroom they're eating dinner in. There is, I call people movers. So it's probably not hard to imagine, but you have 400 or so people in this VIP reception, and like we got to stay on schedule, so we got to get them into those ballrooms for dinner on time.
Mhm.
And they don't usually, people say, okay, it's time to move in for dinner, and 1/3 of the people actually start moving and everybody else keeps talking. And so we kind of have volunteers that I call people movers to help kind of politely urge people to move towards where they're supposed to go. We've got ticket checkers, which just means people are in the right spot. Hey, you're not supposed to be in this room. You're supposed to be in the room that's across the way. Stuff like that. We've got another role that we have actually, which I think it's a new one, is seat fillers. So it's an award show and it's on national television. So it'll be not live, but it'll be on CBS across the country on December 25th, Christmas Day. So it's a big deal, and we need to make sure that any camera shots of the audience, don't show open seats. So we have a few more of those spots to fill, and you're literally just sort of in the theater off to the side, and a stage manager or production manager is kind of aware of the show flow. And if they notice that, a couple people get up to go use the restroom and they're in prime TV shot range, that, they'd send 2 of you to go fill that spot.
Interesting.
So anyway, there's that as well, and a couple other small things. There's an event, like an event teardown crew, which again is during the show. There's a lot of stuff that we can tear down and pack away to make sure that our loadout doesn't take as long and we're not there till 2 o'clock in the morning. So that's something that happens during the actual show itself.
All right. I guess any more questions, anyone? All right. Well, I don't have any more. So thank you,
deal.
Tim. Thank you, Tim, for coming and explaining some of these questions that we had. I know it was kind of quick, but definitely needed to hear all of it.
Not a problem. I'm delighted that the
Yeah.
UMSL program is interested in helping out at all these events, and
Right.
hopefully you guys can spread the word amongst other students and have a nice contingent come out for all of our events.
All
Be
right.
good to have that partnership.
Yes, it will. So I'll send you an email with our 3 names on there. Jake, do you want to be part of that?
Hey, no, I should be good on that. I was just here. I saw your LinkedIn post, so I wanted to sit in.
Oh, perfect.
Sweet.
All right. Thank you, Tim, for coming, and I hope you have a good day.
You
Thanks,
just
Alex.
wanna,
Thanks,
Yeah,
everybody.
thank you, Tim. Nice
Yep.
meeting you.
Do you
You
want
too.
to just
Thanks.
respond to that email about the basket or the volleyball?
Say that again. Oh,
Do you want to just respond to that volleyball email with the 3 of us in there?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, sounds good.
all right. Yep. See you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Tim.
Yep.